In 2005, Gurugram was just starting to light up a city of new glass buildings and offices that never slept. In one of these call centers, a 23-year-old girl named Rosie started her new job. She worked the US shift from 2 in the morning until 11. Rosie was known for one thing: her unshakable smile. Even when customers were angry, shouting through the line, she remained calm, friendly, and incredibly patient. Her greeting was always the same, a gentle voice against the hum of the office floor. "Thank you for calling. My name is Rosie. How may I help you today?" But on the night of October 17th, something was different. At exactly 3:13 a.m., her system lit up with an incoming call. There was no caller ID, no location tag. This wasn't entirely unheard of. Sometimes international calls came through with masked data, but this call was unusual. It lasted for 1 full hour, 60 minutes. There was no request to speak to a supervisor, no angry escalations, no time spent on hold. It was just a conversation. Her colleague Neha, who sat right next to her, noticed that Rosie wasn't following the usual script. She wasn't talking much at all. She was mostly listening, her head tilted, eyes fixed on her screen. Every now and then Neha would catch a soft whisper. "Yes, I remember. I'm sorry." At one point Neha swore Rosie's monitor flickered, and the lights right above her desk dimmed for a second, but nowhere else on the floor. At 4:14 a.m. the call ended. Rosie took off her headset, her movements slow and deliberate. Her signature smile was gone, her face was pale, her eyes looked hollow. Neha leaned over and asked, "Are you okay?" Rosie's reply was barely a whisper. "He found me." The next day, Rosie didn't show up for work. HR tried to call her, but her phone was unreachable. They contacted the cab driver who dropped her home every morning. He went to her address, a shared flat in Sector 22, but the landlord was firm. "There is no Rosie here," he said. "3 boys live here, no girl." Now completely confused, the management team pulled up her employee file. Her ID proof, her address, her emergency contacts, everything seemed perfectly legitimate. So, they called the police. Officers traced her permanent address to a small house in Delhi. When they arrived and asked her parents about Rosie, a chilling silence fell over the room. "We had a daughter named Rosie," her mother finally said, her voice trembling, "but she died in 2003. It was a car accident, on her way back from a class." The officers thought there must be some mistake, some mix-up. But then the family showed them a photograph. It was her. The same Rosie who had worked at the call center for 3 months. The same face, the same smile. The final, terrifying piece of the puzzle came from the IT department. They analyzed the logs for the call from that night. The one that came in at 3:13 a.m., there was no source number listed. Instead, the origin field contained a single word, internal, but no internal extension had dialed her number. The security camera footage from that night shows Rosie sitting at her desk, talking into her headset, seemingly alone. But when you zoom in on the footage, you see something deeply unsettling. Her computer screen is completely black. There is no active call window open. And in the final seconds of the recording, just before the call would have ended, Rosie slowly begins to smile. A genuine, peaceful smile, as if the voice on the other end had just said something incredibly comforting. To this day, former employees of that call center whisper stories. They say that on certain nights, if you're on the floor at exactly 3:13 a.m., one of the headsets will light up on its own. And if you listen closely, you can hear a soft, familiar voice say, "Thank you for calling." My name is Rosie. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.